Yeah, Tina Gresko, Crime of Passion. Um, Congratulations. Supposed to be 10-year anniversary for that band.
It is. I can't believe how fast that the time went.
Uh-huh.
Um, the fact that we never get tired of singing and playing those songs either. What a testament to, Pat Benatar, Neil Giraldo, and that band just to be able to enjoy those songs as much as we do 10 years later.
I photographed her back in the 80s. She had like a shag haircut back then and stuff like that. So, but still, what an amazing voice, you know?
Yeah. And people always think, when you tribute someone, most people make an assumption, oh, that must be your favorite singer.
Right.
And she's my second favorite singer. My absolute favorite singer is Karen Carpenter.
Cool.
Uh, that haunting, beautiful voice. But when it comes to the beautiful, haunting voice, but then with the rock edge, I mean, nobody did it better. Nobody does it better than Pat Benatar.
Right. Yeah. Wow. Wow. I know Karen Carpenter's was a sad situation.
Yeah.
Um, but still she left a legacy. So, you know, it happens,
I'm
you
still
know?
trying to think of ways to get the guys in the cover band that actually cover like Superstar by the Carpenters.
Right.
Some players are like, that's not going to go over. That's not going to
Right.
work. I
Right.
think
Yeah.
if we rocked it up a little bit, put our spin on it, we could even do it in the tribute band too, because once in a while we like to throw in some other artists just to mix it up, especially if you're doing a longer set.
Right. Wow. Did you ever think 10 years later you'd still be doing it?
No, I
Uh-huh.
mean, when we started it, everybody, there was the Bad Company tributes and the Bon Jovi and, the Bowie and Journey. And we were like, there's no Benatar tribute. And fortunately, I was able to pull off the voice and,
Right.
um, I just thought, well, let's throw that out there into the mix of all the different tributes there. I mean, the fact that tributes are still going so strong after 10 years is
Right. Yeah.
pretty insane.
Wow. Do you feel that's basically where, the money is and stuff like that? Because like a lot of original bands don't draw anybody, you know?
It's, you know what? I had a feeling you were going to ask me about that. It's a labor of love.
Right.
If I would have if I would have picked something that was really mainstream, like I was mentioning, like this, the Tom Petty's and the Bowie and the Bon Jovi, that Foreigner, things like that, where the tributes are drawing like this incredible, yeah, they do really well. Let's just be honest, they do really well. The Benatar tribute is a labor of love. I mean, we command we command our audience. So when we get that audience and they're watching our show, I mean, they are just like, holy crap, like, oh my God, I didn't remember all those songs. Getting people out is tough.
Yeah.
And it's so I tell even the people that join in or work with us that it's just a labor of love, but people get really hooked. Like the people that play with us, people come see us, say, "Oh my God." And that's the fun. That's the fun. People remembering those songs and saying, "Yeah, that's really cool." I forgot about those songs.
Right. Wow. Wow. I mean, like the Foreigner tribute's doing great with Chandler and Sean and stuff like that. They're playing pretty big venues.
Yeah, yeah, I believe me, I've thought about, would I switch that up and day job and things I do. I'm happy to play the different styles of music I play. I don't just do the tribute, do the classic rock cover band. I do an acoustic. And then I have some originals I've been writing, on and off for years. So I get to do what I enjoy,
Right.
all of those different facets. But yeah, the trivia thing is really interesting because it's kind of like how much longer are we gonna
Right.
have this? And I don't know. I
Wow.
don't.
Cool. Cool. Tell me, I was reading about you were a social worker, or you still are?
Well, I actually I work, I oversee, how would say this? How do I say this? You can edit this, right?
Go ahead. Just
Yeah.
say
Well,
what you
no, I
want.
have to be mindful about talking about my state job because I'm not
Right.
really supposed to talk about it. But so I work with people who have disabilities that want to find and keep work or prepare
Right.
for work. So, I have a pretty fulfilling and demanding day job.
Cool, cool, cool. And tell me, you went to Rutgers University?
Yeah, I did 3 of my degrees at Rutgers. I finished my undergrad there, and then I did 2 master's degrees there. Um, the
Right,
last one while teaching and doing music, and I'm working.
right, yeah. Wow, wow. Were you
Yeah.
also part of a Pink Floyd tribute?
I was briefly, and it just I like just if I'm gonna do the whole night, I want to do the whole night. I was singing some backups, and it was such a neat experience to revisit those songs in a different way, not as a lead singer, but
Right,
really listening to the
right,
harmonies in the background. And
right,
it was really a neat experience, but it just wasn't something that
right,
I felt passionate about long
right,
term. But really, really neat experience, especially being a lead singer and then going to being a backup singer and saying, wow, that's a whole different set of skills.
right. Wow. Can you tell me a little bit about Vinyl and Cherry Rocket? What's
Yeah,
that?
so Vinyl is the classic rock cover band, and that grew out of we were really focusing on Crimes of Passion, Pat Benatar tribute for many years. We were breaking into theaters, and then COVID hit in 2020.
Right,
And as clubs started to get bands back in, they would
right,
call me and say, "Hey, can you play? And then can you play all night?" And we
right.
said, "You can't do a tribute all night. Like that's a lot of music." So we kind of just put together a batch of songs, and it's called Vinyl because it's based on my vinyl collection. I go through
Right,
my vinyl records and see these are things I like to play or I want to listen to.
right,
So we would start splitting nights and doing like a set is vinyl and this set is a tribute, and vinyl just morphed into its own thing. But that really grew out of COVID and the fact that, venues were just asking me to do a whole night, and it wasn't feasible to do a whole night of Pat Benatar.
right, yeah.
And
Uh,
Cherry Rocket is my one of my original projects that I started back in 2015 or 2016. And we're we did a bunch of scratch recordings. And I was called like the Donnas meets the Bay City Rollers kind of
right,
vibe.
uh-huh,
We haven't, it's been a labor of love in between other projects. And
uh-huh,
my collaborator has a bunch of other things he works on. So we just revisit it periodically. We
uh-huh.
haven't put together a band or played out yet or put
Right.
those songs out there. But it's like the Donnas, if you can think of like the Donnas meets the Bay City Rollers, that's definitely the vibe of Cherry Rocket.
Wow. I'd love to see like a Bay City Roller tribute band. That would be pretty cool, you
Yeah.
know?
Another band that I'm always trying to get my cover band to be like, let's do some more Bay City Rollers.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah, I
cool.
mean, it's I gotta pick and choose with the guys sometimes, like what songs they want to play or don't want to play.
Right, yeah. Wow.
Big fan, big fan. If you follow any of my vinyl pages, like I cannot get enough of my Bay City Rollers.
Cool, cool. So with your vinyl collection, um, what's your favorite album?
My favorite album of all time is Kiss Alive.
Uh-huh.
It has been my favorite album since I was 7 years old. Back in the days, remember we used to do show and tell back
Right,
in,
yeah, yeah.
and I don't remember a lot from my childhood, but I do remember, this kid, Jimmy Gresh, because it
Uh-huh.
was Gresko. So this kid, Jimmy Gresh, brought in his brother's Kiss Alive record and dropped the needle, and the song was Watching You. Wasn't
Uh-huh.
side one, it wasn't Deuce, but it was Watching You. And then I saw what the record looked like, and I was like, 7-year-old girl just going, oh my God, like this
Right,
is
yeah.
really cool. So I heard it and then I saw it. I can still put the needle down on that record and
Right.
just it I never get tired of it.
Uh-huh.
I love it. It is I love that almost 50 years later,
Right, yeah.
it's still that thing that just resonates with me that I never get tired of. So there's something to be said for that because certain music, I might go back and listen to a record that I really liked in the early 90s and go, I don't
Yeah.
like that much now. But those classic albums, that stuff early on, that Kiss, that Bay City Rollers, Tom Petty, I just never tire of that.
Cool, cool. So you're talking about Kiss. What do you think about that Kiss Avatar thing?
I don't.
Yeah, it's a waste, at least to me. I would never go.
I mean, you'll see behind me, I've got the
Right, yeah.
put in for the meet and greet for the 2003 tour.
Uh-huh. Right,
And the day after I, got my meet and greet thing, they said he's freely decided not to do the tour. And, that was back when it was just email. That was pre-MySpace,
right.
and people were emailing me like crazy, going, "Oh my God, no Ace. Like, this
Yeah,
sucks for you." So while I love this photo, it's not Ace Frehley, and I had to wait several years to kind of make that happen. But um, even after that, I only went to see them maybe once or twice after, and that was for specific reasons. But it's okay. Like, I don't,
yeah,
you know, I like different versions of different bands. We were talking about Foreigner earlier, and how do you not love what Kelly Hansen has done? But there's a lot of bands that I don't enjoy what they're doing without some of
right.
the original members. I was just a person that when I was a kid, I just wanted to be Ace Frehley. I
Right,
didn't want
yeah.
to be a singer. That wasn't my aspiration. My aspiration was to be Ace Frehley. I thought he was the coolest member of Kiss. Actually, as I
Uh-huh.
was getting my water glass together, I was like, "Oh, I'll use my Ace Frehley
Yeah,
one."
yeah. And I
But
saw I saw pictures of you with the Ace makeup as a little kid.
yeah, yeah. And
Uh-huh.
that was fun because if you know Ruby from Kiss Nation, I
Uh-huh.
showed up that night and Kiss Nation was playing for Halloween. And Ruby was just so thrilled that somebody showed up not dressed as Paul. So we had such a nice night together with our picture, and we've been friends. And yeah, I fell into singing by accident, but my, first real goal in life was to be a guitar player and to, be as cool as Ace Frehley.
Cool, cool. So with all the records you have, can you pick like the top five covers that you like?
I'm always bad at top fives. Oh, that is a really tough question because I have about 1,000 records and I don't have an exact count because sometimes I purge and I merge, or people donate to me, I donate to somebody else's collection. But I mean, again, Kiss Alive really is it's just one of my favorites.
Right.
Um, I mean, don't laugh, Bay City Rollers, Rock and Roll Love Letter,
Uh-huh.
that old, oh my God, how
Right, yeah.
amazing is that? There's so many.
Uh-huh.
Damn. If you start throwing some artist names at me, I might be able to. I
It's hard
actually,
'cause some of the albums, the music's great, but the cover sucks.
yeah,
Yeah.
like even, okay, let's go back something real simplistic. Foreigner 4.
Uh-huh.
What a great cover.
Right.
What a
Yeah.
great cover. There's iconic covers, some of the Led Zeppelin stuff. I'm trying to think of like obscure bands that I
Right.
like.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to just pick them out of thin air.
Right.
Um, but I mean, the Kiss Psycho Circus hologram cover with the reissue vinyl. That's really cool. Actually, okay. So Kiss Destroyer, the first version of them wearing the old outfits before it
Right.
got changed over. I love that cover.
Uh-huh.
I think that, I mean, I know they switched their outfits and they had to have them repainted, but I love the original version of that.
Right.
Hotter Than Hell. I know I'm going to my Kiss stuff, but I feel like
Right.
those were neat covers.
Right.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
those were cool covers. Meatloaf Bat Out of Hell stands
Right.
out to me. Um, yeah, I mean, there's probably a list of 20 plus records. It just, if
Cool.
I pull them out, I go,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
so
Wow.
cool. But I agree with you. Sometimes really good records have really bad covers.
Yeah. I could come up with at least, Pink Floyd. Some of their covers were just, eh, you know?
Yeah, I mean, they're iconic in one way, but when you're talking about just a record I would see, and I wish I'll be going down flipping through records and then I'll say, oh, wow,
Yeah. Yeah.
that was something that I should have answered. But it's difficult because I was thinking about, this conversation and thought about records, and I feel like I'm just a fan.
Right.
Like I'm not a collector, I'm a fan. So when I buy 1,000 records, it's because I want to listen to 1,000 records.
Right.
Um, it's not, I don't collect for the sake of collecting or holding on to something. I buy a record and I don't care what somebody says it's going to be worth. I open that thing and I throw
Right.
it on the turntable.
Yeah.
That's what gives me joy at this point of my life. I don't want to leave it, in
Right. Yeah.
plastic, look at it.
Cool. Cool. And what's your feeling about colored vinyls?
I love it. When I was younger, I didn't have
Uh-huh.
any money. So I was lucky to get black vinyl. I had a stack of 45s.
Right.
So you talk about like, going 45s were fun because a dollar here, a dollar
Right.
there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But I didn't have a colored record in my entire youth.
Uh-huh.
So it was only after I started buying records again, and then the colored stuff started coming out that I was like, this is such a treat. If you went back and told my 7, 8, 10-year-old self, like you have all this beautiful, beautiful colored vinyl. I mean, that's a treat to open that record up and be like, oh my God, like Ace Frehley Origins, I think it's volume 2, is
Right.
this like lifesaver
Uh-huh.
looking bluish screen with the beautiful white. I mean, it's so stunning.
Right. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
such a stunning. I mean, we have so many amazing colored vinyls. And I think as someone who just never not loved vinyl, that to me is just like, wow, thank you. What a treat.
Wow. 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 Tell me a little bit about I know you go to Namm a lot, right?
Yeah.
Or a couple times. Tell me what the experience is going to Namm. I saw some pictures with some of my friends with you and stuff like Eric Ragno and Tod Howarth and DePriest and a lot of other people too. But do you go to actually promote your band or do you go to just enjoy yourself?
We go to enjoy ourselves. We started going in 2009 and we haven't really we only missed a few years and obviously the COVID years, but it morphs into, oh, it's cool to see, musicians there to, it becomes almost like class reunion now.
Right.
And I look forward to seeing my friends from Vegas, California, Phoenix, Texas, all over the
Right.
state, New York. I joke and see, I always joke with Jack Frost and say, I see you more at Namm than I do in our own state. We live like an hour from each other, but I see him more at Namm, I feel like recently. Um, Friends from all over the world.
Uh-huh.
You know, one of my funnest Namm stories is 2009. Every time we turned around, we were at some kind of event or going to see a band or an artist or something fun. There was this person who just was showing up at everything we were at, and he was by himself.
Right.
And, I joked with him and just said, stop following us. Well, why don't you just join us?
Uh-huh.
What's your name? Here it was Soren Anderson.
Uh-huh.
Soren Anderson now, he plays with Glenn Hughes. He's
Okay.
Glenn Hughes. And if you've seen Glenn Hughes the past several years, his amazing guitar player is Soren Anderson. So I met Soren just hanging out at Namm, and he became and is a good friend.
Uh-huh.
And you meet other people
Right.
through friends that you meet. And sometimes you're hanging out, you're having a drink with somebody, and someone will tap me on the shoulder afterward and say, hey, you know who that was? And I'll be like, no, it's just somebody I met. And they'll
Uh-huh.
tell me it's like, oh, it's like Devin Townsend, or it's some guy in Europe who's really famous. I'm going, we're just all hanging out, talking about music, enjoying bands or drinks or,
Right.
like Eric. I love going out I see Eric Rango out there every
Uh-huh.
year. And,
Yeah.
last year I started going to a lot of the workshops.
Right.
So we don't just look at equipment and pro audio and things. I started going to some of the actual like songwriter workshops and
Right.
marketing. So I'm not out there to necessarily promote my stuff, but
Right.
I'm seeing people, I'm getting ideas, um, just really enjoying the camaraderie, the same way that M3 or the Monsters of Rock cruise becomes a
Right.
class reunion and you see your friends. And my husband's a guitar player, so he goes out and does his thing, and I go
Uh-huh.
out and do mine.
Cool. 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 Let's get back to Crimes of Passion.
Sure.
Tell me, a little bit about your set, and can you give me a rundown of your set list, or
Oh
whatever.
yeah. I mean, someone said we just played Saturday night and someone came at me afterward and said, "Oh my God, I love that you start with All Fired Up."
Right,
And I said, I don't think we've ever not started with All Fired Up. It's such a great build up and
right,
introduction song. And we generally will go from that into Invincible.
right.
Then we'll throw in a couple songs, usually from Get Nervous record, Shadows of the Night, and Little Too Late. Then we'll go back and throw in Crimes of Passion songs like You Better Run, Treat Me Right. I try to throw an obscure song once in a while, like Anxiety, Get Nervous.
Right.
That's a really fun song to play. I'm Gonna Follow You from Crimes of Passion, which is a really awesome song. We really try to stick with stuff from the first four records.
Right.
Let's be real, like that's my wheelhouse. My wheelhouse is kind of that really in your face, high energy,
Right.
classic experience. So we've been asked to do like Strawberry Wine recently and La Belle Age, and we certainly will go back and entertain that. But I feel like, we'll throw in Wuthering Heights when we do a longer
Yeah.
set. But the
Uh-huh.
classics are the hits.
Right.
Helps for Children, Promises in the Dark,
Right.
Hit Me with Your Best Shot, Heartbreaker, Love is a Battlefield, the stuff I mentioned before.
Uh-huh.
I do try to vary it based on, where we're playing, how often we've been playing, how long. It's important for me, like old school musicians, to kind of craft a set list that takes somebody up pretty high,
Right.
keeps it there for a while, and then brings it back down. Like I'm Gonna Follow You is an amazing place in the middle of that set.
Yeah.
And my guys jam it out at the end
Uh-huh.
and it just go into all those really hard hitting songs that everybody wants to hear going into that last part of the set. So,
Well, yeah, cool. Um, is there any possibility of you doing some originals and recording it?
oh yeah. I mean, I'm working on something now because we just did a house concert
Uh-huh.
series. I don't know if you're familiar with Stone Turtle, Eric Miller. Big shout out to Eric Miller. He's amazing. He does some really cool house concerts down here up south, PA area. And he's had Ian and I there just doing like some acoustic stuff, like a acoustic Benatar set, and then maybe just some acoustics from our other band. But he said to me, I'd love it if you throw in some original songs too. I said, yeah, I gotta write some new stuff.
Uh-huh.
Um, and I realized some of the things I wrote 10, 15 years ago were coming from a place of more anger, frustration, and kind of that angst.
Right.
And I really now want to write stuff that's more emotional, but yet ending on a positive note. So we can go through some really difficult things in life, but I feel like we don't have to end the story like that. So I'm really revisiting a lot of things and kind of putting a more of a positivity or
Uh-huh.
helpfulness aspect, even if it's a song that's kind of deep or dark at some point, bring it out into the light at the end. I just feel like that's an important thing to do right now for me
Right.
personally as a songwriter. So
Cool.
yeah, absolutely. It's just when it fits in. I've
Mhm.
got my hands full with three different bands right now and
Right.
just,
Yeah. Cool. 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 Is there
yeah.
any merchandise available?
Mm. We have Crimes of Passion t-shirts. We sell them at the gigs. We don't sell them on our website. Our website is www.cop-nj.com. But we have them at the gigs and you know,
Cool.
but we're not selling music. I mean, we want to be a really mindful tribute that a t-shirt is one thing, but we're mindful and respectful that we're tributing an artist who's still out there and
Right.
that artist deserves support and having their merch sold and their music sold. So
So, um, has Pat Benatar or you got to meet each other, and what was that experience like?
I've met Neil at Namm. um you know what, at the time I wasn't doing the tribute, or maybe if it was, it was new. I didn't mention it. So if we were doing it, it just didn't come up. But I'm also wondering if we had just maybe not started it yet.
Right.
I have not met Pat,
Mhm.
and people always assume that I have, or every time she comes around, they say, "Oh, have you gone to see her?"
Right.
And I said, "We haven't because I haven't seen her for years. I'm singing the songs. I've been singing them for 10 years. So
Right.
sometimes it's hard to, you know, go
Uh-huh.
see the artist because then you also think, am I not doing it right? Or should I change something?" And
Exactly. Yeah.
we kind of have we've had to adjust songs based on, some endings are fade out. And we don't do exact. We are a band that creates more of a live experience. So if we really want to do a bombastic ending on a song that we like, that we feel
Right.
goes over really well, we're just going to do it.
Yeah. Cool. Cool.
Because,
You have any shows coming up?
we're booking some stuff. I was supposed to have a show. We were supposed to have something next week. And, the other issue we have out there now is sometimes things happen with other bands or other tributes or, you know, stuff happens. So we had to adjust that gig and make it a cover band gig. So we're working on booking shows. And I really was so grateful to the place we had our show last week because they've been a place that's really supported us for 10 years and appreciate what we do. And just it's nice to have those venues. We don't have formal booking,
Uh-huh.
and it makes it tough. Makes it
Uh-huh.
really tough. So if anybody's listening and they're interested, get in touch with me.
Cool. Cool. You said you're working with two other bands besides this. What are the bands?
Well, now I work it with my cover band, Vinyl,
Uh-huh.
and Thousand Days band,
Right.
which is
Uh-huh.
my acoustic project. And, that comes up when people just reach out to me or they'll say, "Hey, I need a duo," or "I
Right.
need a cover band," or "I need acoustic." So we've done so many different projects through the years, whatever somebody needs or wants at a given time. And I have fun with all of them. I really enjoy all of the projects. So I don't
Right.
really like to say no to anything because there's just something to be said for, my voice and a guitar. And there's
Right.
something to be said for playing a whole array of different songs. And then there's really something to be said about showcasing an artist in a tribute band.
Right. Yeah.
I take that very seriously in terms of the experience. But listen, I don't wear a wig.
Uh,
I don't wear a wig. I'm not 90 pounds soaking wet. I'm not, I don't try to look like Pat Benatar.
right.
It's not going to happen. I mean, let's look, it's just not going to happen. So we put on a show to emulate that experience you have. You close your eyes and you have that energy, kind of
Right.
that 82, 83 era.
Yep. Yep.
That's what we're going for.
Cool.
But
Cool.
yeah, so we're booking. We have a lot of stuff in the works that we're waiting, to get some confirmation on.
Cool. 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 I know you go to a lot of shows. What was the last show you went to?
I went to see Silvertide in Philly, and if you know anything about Silvertide,
I know about them.
yeah, they're oh man, what a great rock band, original rock band based in the Philadelphia area. Big shout out to those guys because that record is flawless.
Mhm.
It should have been huge. The band is great. Um, it was just so much fun. I was at Mach 22 before that, which is another Philly band
Uh-huh.
who got back together and did a show over the Thanksgiving break. And then before that, I think I was at Overkill.
Cool. 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 And
So,
then I saw you at Metal Allegiance,
yeah.
right? That's Philly band.
So, yeah, I mean, and you're talking about Namm. Like, I've been to like 4 or 5 Metal Allegiance shows.
Right.
How much fun is that?
Yep.
Um,
Yep. It's very cool. Very cool.
Okay, so that's the other thing about Namm that I didn't get to mention was you get to see a lot of artists play together and jam together, and sometimes it's really impromptu,
Right.
and it's amazing. Like I was telling my friends that went on the Monsters Rock cruise last year, I said, don't miss any opportunity to see jam
Right.
band. Like on the cruise, they do a thing called Rare Hair.
Uh-huh.
And they just get together all the different people that play on the cruise and put them together in a jam band, or they do like karaoke, and And I was telling my friends, like, don't miss that stuff because that's the kind of stuff you see at Namm or on the
Right.
cruise. You won't get to see, other than maybe metal legions. But again, that's pretty specific. So I've been trying to go see everything,
Right.
everything I
Yeah.
love because, we're getting to an age where some of our bands are going to stop.
Yeah.
I saw Firehouse and Steelheart. I mean,
Yeah.
Firehouse looks very different.
Uh-huh.
Uh, I wanted to see Steelheart, so I pick and choose, but I try to really go see as many shows as I can.
Right. Yeah. Oh, cool. I saw Steelheart at Rocklahoma. And that was something else. And I saw Firehouse plenty of times, not with the new singer, but before that, 10, 20 times maybe. So you can't beat them guys, you know. So
No, and we have to, I don't know, I feel like a friend of mine said we have to go see these bands now because we're at that cusp where it's just like we don't know how much longer we're going to have the things
right,
we have in this genre because at some point you won't have enough to fill a cruise or enough to fill an M3 weekend. And
right,
even at Namm, the guitar players that are there, or the drummers that are there, it looks different every year. And sometimes you're getting some of those younger artists. But it's a lot of fun to go out and just support our music
right.
while it's there, while we can.
Cool, cool. Well, Tina, it was great talking to you, and hopefully we'll catch up again. Would you like to say anything to the people out there, your fans?
I just want to say thanks for the support. Marking an anniversary with anything makes you reflect back. And as I mentioned when we started, it's such a fun band and it's such an amazing experience. And if you really enjoyed the classic early Benatar stuff, come out and see us. We do not disappoint. We would love to, see you. Check us out online, Facebook, Instagram, website, and just go out and support local music because all artists need that right now.
Cool, cool. Thanks a lot, Tina. I
Thanks
appreciate
for
it.
having me. It was great to see you.
Bye bye.
Bye.